Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarium Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 198. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday. We're talking about A Man's Plight, Part 6, which is the last book of the series and the last book I will be discussing this year. But do stay tuned for a later podcast that will be posted today about what's coming next year as far as my content. Anyway, the last book of the series, obviously, I am good for going out with a bang, and I felt like I needed to talk about mental health and therapy. And not too long ago, a famous dancer and entertainer named Twitch, who is part of the Ellen DeGeneres show, unfortunately, said goodbye to the world, to put it in simpler terms. And everybody's been talking about it. It's been all over the internet and all these thoughts and feelings and things of that nature. And this book, there was a need of talking about mental health and therapy. And there's this painted image of men being weak when they're at their lowest moments of their lives, and that's far from the truth. The main character, Patrick, is focused on bettering himself as a man and decides that he needs to get the help he needs to get to where he wants to be in life. And writing about this character, Patrick, was important to me because some of the problems he faces, a large amount of men feel and go through in their lives. And I wanted to address things that affect us every day, such as confidence, building relationships with others, trust, anxiety, depression, addictions, emotions, feelings, coping, finances, and plenty of other things. We lose sense of how much men struggle internally and don't know how to verbalize their feelings. And we're not necessarily taught from a young age that it's okay to cry and to emote and to deal with struggles. It's funny because I had a conversation, well, not necessarily funny, but ironic that I had a conversation with my mom about these things. And, she did say, she's like, I feel bad for a lot of men in the world, because we do deal with so much and we do go through so much. And we're not able to verbalize things. And she said, a woman is quick to pick up her phone, call a therapist. I need to, talk about things, and it's easy and it's more accepted. And for men, it's a struggle for us. And it's society that, pushes us to the brink of, wanting to take ourselves out. And I've heard numerous stories of people that want to take themselves out. And it's not really the greatest thing to hear. It's not the greatest feeling. But that's real. It's really real in this world. And to be honest, the relationships with our parents a lot of times shape us into who we are as adults in plenty of ways. And the rest of it will be experiences and learning about ourselves and who we are. And Patrick finally breaks the barriers of trust and opens up to his therapist, Dr. Stephen Grand, and the responses he gets from his therapist are life-changing. And sometimes we need a professional to really dig deeper into who we are and the causes of our decisions and choices that we make in our daily lives. And I hope I'm able to bring this out in this book. With so many, societal expectations of us as men, we are not only trying to figure out things about ourselves, but also our needs and how we think and how we process things, because we all have life stories, and it's just a matter of who's willing to lend a listening ear without being judgmental and opinionated. And trust me, there are a lot of things that I deal with and go through in my mind daily. Am I good enough? Am I talented enough? And plenty of other things. Nothing drastic or crazy, but to say, that, I'm good every single day. No, nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. And there was a need to write a book that has an impact on men in today's world. And men are in dire need of people who are willing to listen to us and our struggles that we go through and not turning it against us. And suicide is significantly higher among men in this world compared to women. And it's not to say that women and their mental health isn't important and it doesn't matter. The focus is on them way more. And men, we get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately. And this book is about normalizing mental health and therapy for men. It's about stepping out into the world and allowing men to be themselves, be vulnerable, open, sensitive, without having a certain perception of them if they do. And there's a need for a change in the narrative of how men are perceived and portrayed. And hopefully, this book series brings more conversations about this on a much deeper level. And to really put things in perspective, I saw this video on TikTok, and it was a guy, who has a podcast, and it was a clip of certain things, and he said, women only get really one shot at this whole thing with men when men open up. And what he meant was when men open up and are vulnerable, the woman's response is going to determine how much he will open up or he will shut down. And it's the truth. It is the complete and honest truth. He will either continue to open up and be more open and vulnerable, or he will shut down altogether. And that trust will no longer be there, and it will dissipate really quick. And I have been in that situation where I've opened up, and if the judgment is there or there's questions or certain things, I will shut down and I will not open up anymore and I will not say anything, and that will be the end of it, and I won't talk anymore. But therapy is important. And I have spoken about this at great length, that I have been someone who has gone to therapy and, addressed certain things. And I'm still managing one day at a time and, learning to not, do certain things and rid myself of bad habits. And, every day is a growing process for us. And that's what A Man's Plight 6 is about. That's the whole goal of writing a book like that. I want you guys to know that we as men deal with a lot, and this book series is really scratching the surface of what we deal with. Like 6 books really isn't enough, but there will be a lot more books written in the near future, about men and the issues and the things that we go through. And some of them will be standalones and some of them will be book series. After next year of doing 12 books, the following year I'll be delving into, standalones, and going in that realm again. I have a lot of book series, and I only have 7 standalone books out of all the books that I've written. So at this point, so down the road, there will be more of standalone books that will address, a lot of the things that, men go through in society. So, that's pretty much the basis of A Man's Plight Part 6. I want you guys to know that, men's mental health is very important. And, to have a month where it is about men's mental health awareness and there really aren't enough, conversations about it, it's concerning. And I know that I'm going to be someone who's going to work his butt off to really bring forth more conversations about it. So, with that said, hope you guys had a good week, have a good weekend, and have a good holidays, all that good stuff. There will be one more podcast coming later today, and it will be a good one. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Stay tuned for the next podcast, which will be the last one of the year. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.